Welcome back to another episode of the What Everybody podcast. Episode 122 is here upon us and ready to go. It's been a minute, but we're back. A lot has happened in the music world since, and we're going to talk about it. Have you ever noticed things happen in threes? We're also going to talk about it. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. So with no further ado, Ryan and Jonny.
What's happening?
Hey, I don't even know what episode we're on. What episode?
122.
Okay, there's twos, a lot of twos.
We have been some inconsistent guys, and it's okay.
Well, we've been busy.
Life happens. We've been busy, but we're back, baby. There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Lots of stuff. Just in the last 3 days, we've lost Ozzy. We've lost the guy who drowned from the Cosby Show. Did you know that one?
Cliff,
yeah.
Right? Cliff?
Yeah, and
Cliff?
then it was a Huxtable, but a Huxtable was a Cosby, right? Wasn't he a Cosby?
Yeah.
That's the Huxtables.
Today.
And then today, Hulk Hogan.
Comes in threes, they say. So I suppose that's your three, right?
Yeah, but didn't we already have three this year?
Who are the other three? I mean, suppose it could be a different
All right, so let's start and say hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode.
Yeah,
but
let's not come in too terribly hot.
Too terribly hot. Just a lot to talk about. I haven't seen this guy. He's back on the West Coast. I'm going to say this again. I say this every time. I prefer when Ryan Harris is on the West Coast because it works better with my schedule.
Oh, well, it's all about you.
Well, I mean, it's usually all about you because you're out of town for months at a time. So,
This time I was chilling and it was awesome, so I stayed. And guess what? My car didn't start when I came back.
How's it feel to not have humidity for the first time in a while?
Great, dude. Oh, it's so great. The weather, dude. I'll tell you what. I love it there. Yeah. My family's there. It's relaxing, and I love it there.
Can't beat the weather here, though, baby.
You can't beat the weather here, dude. I went for a walk today. I was like, this place has just got the best weather.
Yeah.
Although I'll ask you a question. How is it possible that Los Angeles, it never ceases to amaze me how consistently it smells like urine? From block to block.
Well, that's because
consistently.
It's a mixture of a couple things. The homeless.
Dogs and people, right?
Dogs and people, the homeless and the party animals.
Do you think it's more
and the Uber drivers?
On 100% scale of the smell of pee, what do you think the percentage of people versus animals is? 50-50?
I don't think
sure
no. No, see, here's the thing. Dog pee does not smell like human pee. Cat pee has a distinctive smell.
Okay.
Why is my
I have some thoughts. I don't disagree with you that different genres of pee smell different. However, the fact that that's the first thing that you brought up is kind of funny to me.
Well, I mean, it's true. But man, it's like the other day I got out of my car somewhere in Hollywood. And like, it's funny you say that because the first thing I smelled was like, why does it smell like piss right here? Straight up smells like piss right here.
Because, buddy, not joking, it is impressively consistent.
Well, you know what else is impressively consistent? The amount of Teslas I see. We haven't talked about Teslas in a while. Your twos, your theory about seeing them in twos have now gone to seeing them in threes.
Oh, seeing Teslas in two. Well, let's just make it let's make it a rule of three then, dude.
Dude, like, listen, there was that thing you told me once, and this was a few years ago. We're talking early on in the podcast. You did a 1 mile stretch or something. 37.
I counted Priuses one time.
Okay, it was Priuses. All right,
Toyota Prius.
I counted 37 Teslas in a 1 mile span a few years ago. For a state that hates Elon Musk as much as we do.
Oh, yeah, they love his car.
They love his car. And they think just putting a sticker, like I saw a sticker today, it says...
I bought this before I knew he was an asshole.
No. This one just said Elon lost his mind. It's like, okay, does that make it okay still to give the guy $50,000?
I will defend the people, though, that are in a payment plan and can't financially trade it in.
Which should tell you how much of an asshole he is, and you should have never got signed up for that.
Yeah.
What do you mean you can't trade it in? What are you saying?
So I want to hear your story. Just to give the background, a couple of years back, I was driving from Hollywood over Laurel Canyon to Sherman Oaks, which is 6 or 7 miles. And I counted, it was 140 or 150 Toyota Priuses. in that amount of time. And it got us talking. And then one day Johnny said, well, let's count Teslas because it's got to be kind of the same thing. And shit, if you weren't right there.
Listen, you know my theory. All the idiot Prius drivers got real jobs and bought Teslas. Okay.
Idiot Prius drivers got real jobs, but Prius. Okay. No, Priuses aren't cheap.
Yeah, but everybody owns a used Prius now. You don't see many of the new Priuses around. And I respect anybody who gets a Prius over a Tesla. Let's start there. But
why?
Because the Tesla owner sucks, and anybody who gives that jerk off any money, stop giving that guy money. Mm-hmm. Stop supporting that guy. That guy needs to be just not supported in any way.
To play the devil's advocate that I like to, he has not always, well, I'm sure he's always been crazy, but he's not been publicly that guy for that long.
Yeah, but now he is that guy.
If you're in a 3-year or a 5-year, whatever it is, payment plan for your brand new Tesla, and you can't get out of it.
You keep talking about that. I don't know what that is. What? Like,
when you lease a car or whenever you finance a car, it has a
Can you
time
only
period.
Finance a car through
you
Tesla
finance
for a
your
Tesla?
car?
But you can only finance it through Tesla?
You finance it through a bank.
Right.
The way that finance, well, if you leased it, you lease it through Tesla. But if you finance
I see what you're saying. You're
bank.
Stuck in it. Sell it then.
So you're stuck in a payment. If you buy a $50,000 Tesla, the bank owns that Tesla until you pay it off. So if you have 4 years of your 5 years of payments done and you decide you don't like the owner of the car that you bought, you have another year, which you don't have to drive the car anymore, but you go get another car, that new car incurs your old payment.
Why can't you sell the one you have now and just get
because you don't own it.
Oh, and you can't sell it if you don't own it.
You don't own it.
Gotcha.
Until you pay your payments off.
Well, you should have known this stuff.
Why do you think if you stop your payment?
This is a rabbit hole that nobody's going to care about.
It's a rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole, but I have one final because I'm not going to leave this nailed.
Nailed.
If you damn it, and I forgot. Oh, if you miss a payment, a repo man's going to come and take your car because you don't own it until you pay it off. You were saying.
I don't remember what I was saying, except that there's a lot of Teslas on the road and they're in threes.
Yeah,
now.
you can. Yeah, man, I totally came in a little bit too hot on your point. I apologize.
It's okay. It doesn't matter because nobody really wants to talk about this. I'd rather talk about this theory that Ozzy's death was a planned suicide.
Let's hold off on getting into the Oz, man, because I don't want to jump right in on that.
I mean, it's the biggest news in music. How can you not?
There's just so much to talk about when it comes to that guy. Did you cry?
No, because I found out I was on my way to the studio. I was in a different mindset.
Yeah. I went for
it was a real bummer in the sense that, like, I literally was going to do the last couple of tracks for the record, and I found out on the way.
What a beloved human.
Yeah, I guess I'm not that sad because I just think it's a miracle he lived as long as he did. It'd be like Keith Richards dying. I'd be bummed, but it's like, man, that guy he got given extra years.
I'm not sad. I'm not sad about. He had a wonderful family. He lived an awesome life. I mean, sure, he had his struggles like anybody else, but I mean, like, talk about
how old was he?
He was 76. Decades of success. One success out of
he
after
lived
the
longer
other.
than my dad, and my dad did not do nearly half the shit that guy did.
Yeah, I'm not sad about Ozzy. I'm sad about the loss of just something thoroughly great and enjoyable and influential and inspirational.
I got to be honest and say it made me more sad to see him sitting in a chair not being able to sing at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That broke my heart. Because you're watching him wanting to do something and he couldn't.
I've been watching his podcast. The Osbournes have a podcast.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I got back into it. I'm sure everybody else is doing all kind of the similar things, but I started watching it, and one of the things that he said was like, and this recording.
Do I sound like a cold asshole because I didn't cry?
No, we're talking. It's fine.
All right.
The recording was like a year ago or something like that. So this is like fairly recent. And he was saying that my voice is still there. I can still sing. I just don't have the stamina. And it's just like almost like, it was kind of like the perfect, listen to me being a know-it-all. But anyways, it seems like the perfect combination of things. Like the pandemic happened. or he had an ATV accident like years back, and he broke.
I remember
a
that.
vertebrae in his
Did
neck.
that have something to do with it?
Well, here's what it sounds like to me. He had that accident, and he had broke a vertebrae, broke his collarbone, whatever. It was in like 03 or like the 2000s. And then fast forward to 2019, he fell in his home. He fell, and his description of it was at night, and he didn't have he didn't catch himself. So like the force of his weight fell, and he was laying on the ground, and he made the comment like, I have to go to the ER. I think he's like, I think I broke my back, or I think I broke my neck or whatever from that fall. And what happened was that he aggravated the ATV injury, and he had an operation in 2019 or somewhere. My years are probably off, and I apologize, but he had an operation based on that fall, and that operation was what messed him up.
They gave him Parkinson's?
The Parkinson's, from his words, didn't have anything to do with his physical disabilities.
So his problems with walking and everything.
The reason he couldn't walk was because of his neck. The reason he couldn't walk wasn't because of Parkinson's. It was because
that ATV accident happened on the Osbourne show.
Yeah, that's the thing that started it, kind of, and the operations that he had ensue on his neck and back and everything are what messed him up. He had a plate. I guess, who knows, we'll have to wait and see if they end up suing the doctor or whatever, but the doctor did this super aggressive surgery on him that other neurologists told them afterwards was absolutely the wrong move.
Really?
And I guess this plate was screwed into the bones of his vertebrae somehow, and he didn't do a good job on it. So over time, the screws were wearing away at his actual bone. He was in pain. His right arm felt cold all the time. He had all kinds of nerve damage, and that's what led to him not being able to walk.
That's really sad, because it's somebody else's F up. He might be alive today if it's not for somebody else's fuck up.
Because his mind was there, buddy.
All right, so then this goes back to let's talk about it, because I didn't even know it was a thing when I heard the guys at the studio say this theory that he went to Sweden where assisted suicide is legal, and that him and Sharon had a deal that if either one of them were in this situation that they would do assisted suicide.
Yeah.
The thing, it's just it makes a lot of sense. The timing of that concert, it was 2 weeks ago. It was it just happened. And if you're telling me that his ailments of not walking and things of that nature come from the fact of these accidents, then they're out there saying that he died of complications from Parkinson's. None of that makes any sense.
But then there's Tony Iommi, who made a comment expressing, his shock, sadness afterwards, and said that throughout their rehearsal process, the band would rehearse, Ozzy would come in and show up for as much as he could do. His energy was just very he didn't have stamina. He couldn't do it for a long time. And then, the comment was made well, after the show, he was really wiped out. I guess Tony Iommi called him a day or two or whatever, later, and he said that he was told that he was just really, really tired, couldn't do anything. So that was kind of the vibe. Well, maybe he just I don't know, man. Stranger Things that I might get a little bit spiritual for a second here, but it's that final show was his goodbye. And I think, and not only was it his goodbye,
with all those rock stars and stuff, and you see the pictures of them all greeting him backstage and that whole fucking thing. It was everybody was paying their condolences as a funeral as he was alive.
Loved that guy. He was so beloved. It's a unicorn to see. And anyway, my point is that stranger things have happened, man. You've heard about couples that were together for 70 years, whatever, and they die a week apart or something. It's do you think maybe there was part of his mind that said I'm done? I did my thing. I saw my people. My family's good.
Right.
I raised $190 million.
Right. And I have in the bank account
research.
I've got in the bank account probably close to $1 billion for myself and my family. Yes, take me to Sweden and put me out of my misery.
Did he die in Sweden?
I don't know, but the theory was that's
I thought
where
he was in he was in Los Angeles, I thought.
Well,
wait, why would he be in Los Angeles? I got to look that up.
The reason he would be in Sweden is because it's legal for assisted suicide.
It's legal in California.
It is?
Yeah, it's called the black pill. The black pill is legal in California.
I want the people and yourself to ponder that thought for 30 seconds as I grab my sweatshirt. Okay.
Johnny's cold. Johnny's cold. Don't worry. I can fill the time while you're grabbing your sweatshirt. Jonny signs on to this Zoom today, and he told me that he couldn't get halfway through our last podcast because I made fun of him too much. He's not listening to respond right now. I'll repeat it whenever he gets back, but I thought that was hilarious.
I can honestly say that I made a mistake because...
While you were gone, I was telling everybody that Jonny couldn't get halfway through our last podcast because I made fun of him too much.
Yeah, that's true, man. And it's not about making fun of me. It wasn't making fun. It was like ragging.
What's the difference?
Because there was venom. There was venom in your words. You told me to go. No. You called me a fucking asshole 5 times in a row. You're a fucking asshole.
I don't think
asshole. You're a
I didn't
fucking
say it
asshole.
like that. I didn't say it like that.
No.
I didn't say it like that. Because I bleep your F words out. I bleep your F words out, and I don't use them, so I don't have to bleep mine out.
Well, I think you said something.
I probably called you an asshole. No, I absolutely probably called you. I think I remember calling you an asshole. I remember repeatedly calling you an asshole. But
like 5 times.
Whatever, dude.
That's fine. That's
you don't
fine.
name call your buds?
That's okay. There was just a lot of venom. And I'm not going to sit here right now and have you ragging on me more because you fucking pissed me off for ragging on me.
Just saying. Stop. You told me you were going to come at me, and you have yet to sack up. So
because I was being a mature adult and thinking 2 wrongs don't make a right. So if you want to get down to it, I was butthurt.
Talking about something more interesting.
I was butthurt. Yes. I got halfway through the episode. I'm like, Harris is just on a rampage this week. I can't listen. And I like using the word rampage as it was the first name of my first band. So it's always nice. With that being said, back to Ozzy and Sweden or California.
I want to look up something here. Where I want to be. I
still love you though. I still love you. I hope it was a good episode.
I'm kidding to you always. We're friends. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Butthurt.
I'm always butthurt, dude.
Asshole.
It was just bad timing. I just,
Don't get butthurt, you asshole.
I had a rough therapy session that morning. Therapy's weird with me. Some days I have great.
And
therapy.
That's my fault?
No, but you had a bad day too. You were having lighting trouble. You switched up your whole thing. Decided that it was a good idea to do that 20 minutes before you start a podcast.
Yeah, I know. I really did have a rough day. I was in my house that I own. Switching up.
I'm glad switching up needed to
my
know
rooms
that.
to make it more comfortable for myself. I had trouble with the lighting.
I was at my house that I own.
It was rough.
That's got to be a good feeling,
It's an awesome feeling, man.
What are you looking up?
Where did Ozzy die? I'm fairly certain.
Why? It's crazy that it's so
no, he was in the UK. He was in the UK, yeah. Which actually makes a ton of sense because he was just there for that show.
And I was wondering where he'd be buried. I guess he's going to be buried in England. I'd imagine near his mom and dad and stuff, right?
Yeah. So my theory of the black pill in California being legal doesn't apply if he was in the UK.
No, but it would make sense if he died in Sweden. There was a nice little hour flight back to the UK.
There were reports of a helicopter. Like a what's it called? Like a medvac or whatever helicopter, like trying to resuscitate him, and they were unsuccessful.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it a rumor or is that fact?
I read that as fact.
Because if it's fact,
these days, who knows? These days, it's hard to tell the difference sometimes.
The assisted suicide thing, the theory makes sense, and
the
only thing that makes me think that could be a thing is the timing of it.
But Sharon's still here.
No, it wasn't a pact that we're both going to do it. It was a pact between the two of them that if either one of us are in that position,
they would let them.
Yes.
Got it.
But here's what doesn't make sense. Why would he want to not, if he's coherent, be around his grandkids, be around his kids?
Yeah. I see where that thought comes from. I had that thought myself. I don't want to believe it because of that fact.
But think about this fact. If you can't do anything,
he can sing.
He can sing, but he's tortured. It's not the same. It's like,
yeah, he was in pain. What I mean? He was in pain.
Right. So like if he's in pain, I mean, I guess the other is just like keep him doped up. But at that point, like, what am I doing? You know?
He was saying that like with the nerve damage on the decline to where he eventually couldn't walk, he said it felt like I forget what kind of shoes he said, but essentially like I have like cement in my shoes.
Cement shoes.
And then until you just couldn't do it anymore. Man, that sucks.
And that's all because of the surgery. It had nothing to do with because Michael J. Fox has had Parkinson's for years.
To the best of my reading and to the best of hoping that what I read was accurate, he did not lose his ability to walk because of Parkinson's. He lost his ability to walk because of nerve damage that began with the ATV accident.
That was a bad accident. I remember when that happened on the Osbournes. Like, it was like
he broke his collarbone, and then like one of the bones in his collarbone like did something to an artery around there, and then what else?
But he went on to perform a lot of concerts after that. He started canceling tours a few years ago, though.
Yeah,
it's real sad. What did the Black Sabbath people say about it?
I just read the Tony Iommi thing that I said to you.
Oh, that was,
I didn't hear anything from the other fellers.
I haven't talked to you since that reunion happened. What did you think? I mean, like,
did you see any of it? I watched the whole thing, and I am prepped to talk about it.
I watched footage of Guns N' Roses. I watched footage, and when I say these bands, only a little bit. I watched a little bit of Guns N' Roses, a little bit of Metallica, a little bit of the 2 All-Star Jams. I watched the Sabbath.
The All-Star Jams were cool.
Yeah, I watched a Sabbath set and I watched half of the Ozzy set. It was hard for me to watch it because it was really sad to see him in that state. Like, it was tough.
It was equal parts amazing and sad.
I was equally sad for Bill Ward too, because I think he was struggling.
Yeah, why'd he take his shirt off?
And I'm glad Bill Ward played, but like Bill Ward, like the way he played War Pigs.
For sure, put a shirt on. For sure.
Well, what was cool is he always played with no shirt on, so I could appreciate that.
Oh, that was his thing? I didn't realize.
That was his thing. Yeah, that was his thing. But the War Pig, the fills on War Pigs were just like, he wasn't even playing them the way he recorded them.
Well, let's talk about the positive, though, because there was a whole lot more positive than there was.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out some stuff. I just wanted to point that out.
Youngblood, holy shit, boy.
Who's Youngblood?
See that dude? Youngblood?
No.
Sang Changes. Boy can sing. Look it up. Yeah, look it up.
Right now?
Youngblood, Change. No, not now. I can't play music on this podcast. That'll get yanked. That'll get yanked faster than...
But they don't yank me from my 7-Eleven coffee cup.
No, we need a 7-Eleven sponsorship. That's
Drink
for
this
sure.
Shit. It's 122 episodes. I have a 7-Eleven cup.
Yeah.
Except for maybe the 10 that was the Yum Yum cup.
You brought up Guns N' Roses. Man, I'll tell you what. Guns N' Roses, their music's getting better because all the guys sobered up and their Slash is better than ever.
Do they have a new song out or something?
No, I'm saying their playability. Like when they play those songs, they sound really, really good musically.
Yeah, but they're lacking something.
Vocals.
And
dude,
it's more than vocals.
They did. Okay, so 2 things. My 2 favorite Sabbath songs.
Didn't they just play Sabbath songs? Off of like Never Say Die.
No, they did a couple Guns N' Roses songs, but they did Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. And oh my gosh, dude.
If you ever want to hear
the music was killer. The music was amazing. Axl Rose is doing that Mickey Mouse falsetto voice in it. It's sad because I mean he's losing his voice. If you want to hear this, here's my beef though. I'm coming in hot on this one. Here's my beef with this. I'll say it again.
Can I just say something about Bloody Sabbath, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath? If you want to hear the sexiest version, listen to the Cardigans cover it. Okay, that's all I got to say. Continue.
Okay, I will. I love that song. I want to hear all the versions. And I don't imagine it's an easy song vocally to sing because it goes up that octave, you know? And Axl hit the notes, but he's doing it in that like Mickey Mouse falsetto voice. Here's my complaint. I want you to remember that your buddy Rye said this. Listen to Guns N' Roses do Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and tell me what timing he is on. He's doing the Vince. He's in Vince Neil's category with his timing in that song. It was pathetic. It was pathetic.
Can I watch it now?
No, because I don't want to cut out 20 minutes. Right. But remember that I said that. It was bad, dude. I mean,
here's my beef.
He hit the notes. There's no excuse for timing like that.
No, well, I didn't see it, so I can't comment on that. But from what I've seen of Guns N' Roses recently, there's just a lack of enthusiasm behind what they do.
They've kind of always been like that.
Dude,
they're not highly energetic.
Watch anything up through the Use Your Illusion tour.
Yeah. Well, okay, buddy, this is my number one complaint with that band, period. All of a sudden, we're ragging on Guns N' Roses. I love Guns N' Roses, but if we're ragging, I'll keep ragging. You have a career band. They're not just a career band. Guns N' Roses is not just a career band.
They're a legendary band.
Yes, legendary. Arguably the best debut album
I was just
of anyone
say that,
ever.
Yeah.
They put themselves in their early 20s in the position to have not just a career, a lucrative millions of dollars kind of career. And
they somehow kind of fucked up. They kind of fucked
and
it
they
up.
couldn't get along. Okay, that's fine. You don't like somebody, whatever. But for 20 years, this is my point, and I'll let you talk. For 20 years of their prime, they didn't like each other. And then they finally decide to get back together, and they're older. I don't care who you are. It's not going to be as good.
Yeah,
that's
but
so
it's not.
frustrating.
But here's the thing, dude. They could get a drummer who brings that.
They did.
Who is it?
They got some young dude now. He was at the Back to the Beginning concert. They got some young dude playing drums. Looks great. Plays great.
That's good. I don't know, dude.
The music's great, dude. I'm not complaining about the music's great.
So then
Slash and Duff sobered up. They got Richard Fortus, who's an awesome guitar player. They're musically, they're better than they ever were musically, but physically they're not.
Well,
I'll just say physically, and I won't call anything
physically.
specific
They look
out.
like they don't look like they're like. I mean, listen.
Duff looks great.
And Slash doesn't look so bad either. Axl looks different, but Axl's always been like Vince Neil. You know, he's just one of those guys that like had a unique voice. It's like Bon Scott and Brian Johnson. It's the same thing. They're just dudes that like you put them like in like. Yes, Axl could replace Brian Johnson. Why? Because they got a similar kind of weird voice. But Brian Johnson and Axl Rose, either one of them singing Ozzy, isn't going to sound right. Because it's like watching Guns N' Roses sing Black Sabbath. It's going to sound like Guns N' Roses being Black Sabbath. Point. But you can't compare Axl and his whiny voice. Like, he's always had a whiny, annoying voice. Now, granted, he's better than Vince Neil. Vince Neil's got to be one of the luckiest motherfuckers alive because, like, he cannot sing at all. The guy sucks. Let's call it what it is. And he's always sucked. If you go back and watch, there's footage of them at the Troubadour at their first show, or the Starwood at their very first show, and it's just sort of like it's fucking crazy. He was like a good-looking guy with the right look at the right time for the right band. And that's all it ever takes. And same thing with Axl Rose, you know? I mean, it's like Robert Plant's an exception, but even Robert Plant singing Ozzy, would it sound right?
I think that the fact that you brought that up, it's a thought that I had the other day. You don't do your own version. You could pick some. Most of Ozzy's music, you got to do Ozzy's version. It's like you don't take liberties with you gonna do your own thing with Mr. Crowley, Crazy Train, Bark. You gonna do your own version of Bark at the Moon? Good luck.
It was neat to see Jakey Lee at that thing.
Yeah, he didn't do Bark at the Moon though,
which is weird. Who did that?
Yeah.
Did anybody do Bark at the Moon?
Bark at the Moon was in like one of those super group jams.
Oh,
and it was Nuno Betancourt who killed it.
I saw. I mean, it
sounded great. He sounded note for note spot on. Vernon Reed.
Yeah, and Nuno Betancourt doesn't look like he aged a day.
No,
he looks exactly the same.
He might be the closest thing to like the total package of like playability, looks, cool. I've never met him. Seems like a cool guy.
Doesn't come across arrogant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even my brother, like I was watching with my brother. My brother was like, "That dude's rad looking." I was like, "Yeah." He's also 60. You know. I don't know. We're talking a little bit random here, but it's all good.
I watched a lot of footage of the. It was really weird, man. Like that footage of all the rock stars greeting him in that big throne and stuff. And like all the years, like, you know, Metallica toured with him and everybody's toured with him. And, you know, we took Motley Crue on their first tour.
Dude, there's so many. Took Kiss out. Black Sabbath took Kiss out.
Black Sabbath took Van Halen out on the first tour.
Van Halen out,
and that's how Randy
78.
Rhoads kind of ended up in Ozzy's band because Ozzy's the impression Eddie Van Halen left.
Interesting. That makes so much sense.
It left on because apparently Van Halen blew. Black Sabbath was at the end. They hated each other at that point. They were so fucked up on drugs. They were just messed up. And Van Halen was touring for their debut record, which is arguably up there with Appetite. I would prefer to listen to Van Halen 1 over Appetite if I was to be completely honest.
Oh, yeah, me too. But it's all relative.
They're both up there. They're both up there. I don't think you could really pick one or the other. It is apples and oranges. And Van Halen apparently blew them off the stage every night on that.
I heard a funny thing about that. When you're done, I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah, no. So apparently Eddie Van Halen's playing left such an impression on Ozzy that like when Randy Rhoads came along, it reminded Ozzy of Eddie.
I heard a funny thing about that. So
funny thing about what?
About Van Halen touring with Black Sabbath. It could be an internet or an Instagram thing that I read. I did not check the accuracy of this, but I read that Ozzy was frustrated that Kiss blew. They toured with Kiss. Kiss blew them off the stage every night. That was 70s Kiss. I could see that being very factual. So Ozzy said Ozzy got back from that tour, was frustrated that the openers blew them off stage. The next tour, they go out with Van Halen.
I'll tell you what, man.
And who knows? Maybe let's just go down the fantasy rabbit hole for a second here. Maybe there's some truth to that. And it leads to this rift because not too long after he went and did his own thing, got a guy like Randy Rhoads. You know? Well,
Randy Rhoads, and then take it even further, Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen were rivals.
Rivals.
They were the two best guitar players. They were the two best guitar players in L.A. in the 70s. Quiet Riot, which is Randy Rhoads' band, should have gotten signed when Quiet Riot and Van Halen were the two biggest bands in Los Angeles in the late 70s. Van Halen got a record deal. Everybody thought that Quiet Riot was going to, and all they did was get a deal with CBS in Japan. Recorded 2 records with Randy Rhoads. Slick Black Cadillac, I believe, is on one of those records, actually. Yeah. And so is D. A version of D from Blizzard of Oz is also on one of those records. There's a lot of old Quiet Riot stuff that landed on Ozzy's first 2 records. I remember reading something. If you watch that Randy Rhoads documentary, there's a great Randy Rhoads documentary that's out on. I think it's on. I think it's on Netflix, maybe even. I think this is where I saw this, or I might have saw this somewhere on YouTube. It used to drive Randy crazy because Eddie was his rival, and then Van Halen got big.
Were they
and he
personal rivals? Like they
were like
did not like each other as people.
I don't think they didn't. I don't know about that.
Or but it was like you're Tom Brady and I'm
right. But I think it was kind of like they both thought they were better than one another. I think it was like a rivalry between the two of them
because they're so different.
Yeah, but they're also not. Rumor is that that Eddie stole the tapping from Randy. Who knows?
Weird. No,
it's kind of crazy. With that being said, let me finish the thought.
Yeah.
So the thing I had heard or read, it was either I read it or no, it was either a YouTube video or in the Randy Rhoads documentary that Randy was a guitar teacher. He taught in Burbank. That was like where his mom had a guitar shop or a music store. And kids used to come in after that first Van Halen record came out. He had to sit there and teach people like Running with the Devil and stuff.
I could see that being annoying. Yeah. But that also leads me to believe that the tapping comment is bullshit because if he's giving guitar lessons and Van Halen 1 was already out, like the years don't add up for that theory. But
the vibe I get is Randy didn't so much have a problem with Eddie, but Eddie didn't like Randy, which would make sense because Randy was the other guitar player and Eddie wanted to be the best.
That's some weird shit there because I just view them both differently. Like Randy Rhoads has that classical. They were both Randy Rhoads has a classical like flamenco even like background that he applied to metal and rock and roll. Eddie Van Halen was just an alien. You're
talking from a guitar player standpoint. I'm talking from a drummer standpoint. From a drummer standpoint, looking at 2 of them, they both played really fast, and I can see why they were rivals.
It's just stylistically I mean, hey,
I want to know that
someone out there's listening and thinks that I'm full of shit, go ahead and tell me that I'm full of shit. I'm not debating. They're so different.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, being a drummer, I couldn't tell you the difference in that. You know what I mean? Like, that's not something I was watching a Tommy Aldridge interview he was talking about the Randy Road years and Ozzy, and he was talking about the tribute album on how it was recorded in where did he say, like San Antonio or Austin, Texas, or some random place.
Yeah.
And he was like, we played so bad. He's like, Randy hated it. He was just like, it was like Randy thought he played terrible that night, this, that, and the other thing. And
Did
he's
they
like,
overdub it?
No, because he died, and they used it as the tribute album.
That's not overdubbed, that album?
No.
Oh my God, I love that album.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. So that was like the worst show on the tour, and that was the one that ended up becoming the album.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, dude, I never saw that.
Right there.
I never saw that lineup, obviously, but I remember my oldest brother, who God rest his soul, is 9 years older than me. He had tickets to go see Ozzy Diary of a Madman tour, and the show got canceled because of the plane crash. It was rescheduled for a later date, but it got canceled.
He was only with Ozzy for like 2 years.
They did Ozzy's two best albums in those 2 years.
Just the amount of what they put out in that short period of time is wild.
Frankie Benelli, I remember the Hudells opened up for Quiet Riot once, and I had this old 70s Gretsch drum kit, and the legs like went in, and somehow my leg, like the bass drum leg, got stuck inside, and Frankie Benelli of Quiet Riot helped me get it out. It was like the coolest moment ever. He helped me fix my drums, right? It was the year before I moved to California. So
but what happened to the drum?
The legs, they didn't fold up. They went into the drum like this, and one of the legs went like all the way in, and I couldn't get it out.
You couldn't get
so
it in.
So he helped me get it out. So he ended up telling me the story about the song Over the Mountain. And he's like, I nearly got, he nearly got the Ozzy gig. And the only reason he didn't get, Randy recommended him and Rudy. Rudy got the gig. Frankie didn't, because I think it had something to do with visas and extra money they had to pay or whatever. He's like, Over the Mountain. I wrote the fill in the beginning. Lee Kerslake played the fill, and Tommy Aldridge got credit for the fill.
So was there like animosity there, or was it just?
No, he was laughing when he said it. Because he had rehearsals when they were in LA. He was the guy playing with them. There was another thing, talk about trippy podcast to listen to. There was this podcast, the Rudy Sarzo podcast. I forget what it's called, but if you put Rudy Sarzo, I think it's called like On the Dash or something. He had a podcast, and he has a new one now. So this is on the first one. If you put Rudy Sarzo in the search, you'll find it. But I went to the Frankie Benelli. This is a trip. Frankie Benelli died of pancreatic cancer. He announced that he had it in April of 2019. I found this podcast with Frankie, with Rudy, talking about, dude, it's the coolest thing. It's a 4-part podcast with Frankie Benelli, and they talk about so much cool stuff. And Rudy really goes into how he ended up in Quiet Riot, because he left Ozzy's band after Randy died to go to Quiet Riot. And that's where Rudy met Randy, was playing in Quiet Riot, when Randy was in Quiet Riot. So it was just interesting, because what crossed my mind was, this was taped in August of 2018. Less than a year later, he announces that he's got pancreatic cancer, which means he already had it, because when they found that it was stage 4. So here's a guy having this podcast, doesn't even know he has pancreatic cancer, and 2 years from that day, he's already dead. How trippy is that to think about stuff like that?
Yeah, I can't put my mind in that space. I'll just freak out about every little thing. I already do that.
That's probably why I'm fucking nuts.
So they were all in Quiet Riot. Randy Rhoads gets the Ozzy gig, refers basically his other bandmates. Ozzy takes Rudy.
Takes Rudy. But
where
plays
does Bob
with
Daisley fit into all that? Was he kind of like before and after?
What I think happened is the same thing like with Lee Kerslake. I think they didn't want to pay for the visas or whatever for the other two guys. They could only afford to take one guy to England, so they took Randy and Bob Daisley and Lee Kerslake. And I think originally it was going to be those guys in the band, and I think there was just some kind of...
So Lee Kerslake and Bob
out.
Daisley were English dudes.
Yeah.
That could work over there.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening to get Tommy Aldridge and Rudy Sarzo? U.S. tour?
Well, I don't know if Lee Kerslake and Bob Daisley... No, I don't think they did any of the shows. I think it came down to...
Bob Daisley did. If you look at the back of Blizzard of Oz, it's a picture with Bob Daisley.
Is it Lee Kerslake or who's on the back cover of that?
Oh, that's good. I don't know who the drummer is on that.
I don't think you can see the drummer on that.
No, if I'm remembering correctly, it's like a rafter angle, and it's like Ozzy with his, the phrase.
Yeah. And do you know that Blizzard of Oz was the second record I ever bought when I was 9 years old? Really? Mm-hmm. High Voltage was AC/DC was my first.
Blizzard of Oz was my first, and No More Tears was my brother's first. So the timeline goes, my brother buys No More Tears. I get into that album because it's available to me and I love it and end up loving it. And then I got to an age where I'm going to go buy my first album. And I bought Blizzard of Oz. Whatever, man. I'm going to say the same thing that everybody else says. I listened to it and I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
I know.
Blizzard of Oz, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And the tribute album, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was like, this is what their shows are like. I couldn't believe it.
I remember going to the mall and buying the tribute album the day it came out.
I didn't even know about it. One of my buddies was giving me a ride home one day, and we were talking about just rock and metal and stuff. And he goes, "Did you ever hear Tribute?" And I was like, "No, what's that?" And he goes, "You never heard Tribute? It's Ozzy and Randy Rhoads live and blah blah blah." I got it like shortly thereafter, and was holy crap.
There's a new video that has surfaced in the last couple of months or in the last year, a restored version of Randy playing with Ozzy, Diary of a Madman, literally a month before he dies.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those. I saw a Randy Rhoads resurfacing.
Ohio, too.
I saw a Randy Rhoads resurfacing of that tour, him doing Revelation Mother Earth, and then I saw another one of them doing Over the Mountain, I think. Over the Mountain was on Diary of a Madman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that footage of them on the first tour playing that TV show in the morning? Well, I only know it's in the morning because Tommy Aldridge talked about it. It's really cool, dude. They play I Don't Know. They play Crazy Train. I think they just play I Don't Know and Crazy Train, and it's like they're in a studio, and it's like before Ozzy had any money or before he became I get the impression Ozzy was out of money by the time his solo career started. He's got just that Ozzy shirt on, that blue shirt.
Is that
with
the one where
frails.
they did Mr. Crowley and Crazy Train?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I've seen that. That was in the morning.
Yeah.
What was that from? That was just like a recording?
Like some TV show in Rochester, New York at 8:30 in the morning.
But it's it's like what am I trying to say?
Tommy Aldridge could be my father.
It's the live footage that pretty much everybody is like, I've seen that. And they refer to Randy doing the Mr. Crowley solo. And it's like.
Tommy Aldridge, I didn't realize this, but Tommy Aldridge says that's the only footage from Blizzard of Oz era.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, cameras just weren't around as much as they are today.
Well,
that's why the amount of Kiss footage is phenomenal when you think about it.
But also you got to think about, there was a time at concerts where they started having those screens, so they started having their own cameramen filming everything. And what's happening is all those things. I've found some shows that I've seen as a kid. I saw the Dr. Feelgood tour when I was a little kid, and I remember it was a snowy night. I remember all that, and that show just popped up on YouTube. I can go, and it's crazy. I've watched it twice already. It's wow, I was at the show.
Me. The Kiss reunion show at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh that I saw is on YouTube, and it's funny because the show's amazing. I had a blast. I loved it. It was incredible. But I remember thinking, musically, I didn't think that a concert would be like that because it was really loud, and I couldn't I guess in my young brain, I thought it would be a little bit more able to pick out, when you listen to music, you can pick out the parts. It was just too overwhelmingly loud for me. And upon re-listening, I was like, oh yeah, sound was not great.
Kiss. I made it one of the shows on two of the shows that are on Kiss the Second Coming. I was at the warm-up show at the Weenie Roast where Ace shot his guitar and lit the lighting rig on fire, which was crazy.
So did it actually light on fire? Because it was part of the show that he blew up part of the rig and the rig falls.
Oh, well, maybe that's what it was, and I didn't know.
I think he got duped, buddy. I think
I did, but the show wasn't out yet. They didn't even play the first show yet. This was a warm-up show. But the way I got into that was awesome because it was the first time I moved to LA. I was living on somebody's couch. It was just bad. the situation for me. And I had no money whatsoever. However, we had a friend who worked at the Hard Rock Cafe in Newport Beach, and they were the caterers for the weenie roast.
For the weenie roast.
It was in Irvine. So he got us Hard Rock Cafe uniforms, and we snuck in as Hard Rock Cafe employees into the show. And I was actually in the pit. Like I was down what's that?
I said, sorry, Gene.
Yeah, that guy. I don't know why I don't like Gene Simmons so much, but for the guy, I know exactly why I don't like Gene Simmons. He single-handedly disrespected me, that fucking guy. Another story, another day. Doesn't matter.
For another time.
For another time. I'll tell you sometime. I probably already have. And then I was at one of the LA Forum shows over Halloween, and they talk about both of those in that documentary.
I'm gonna wrap it up with this because we've talked long enough. But you're talking about Gene Simmons, and I have a question for you about Ozzy. It brings it all back to the overall point of.
It just goes to show how much Hulk Hogan means nothing to us.
I didn't mean it that way too.
I don't care, dude.
Yeah. Thunder Lips,
dude. I like him best in that. As a human, he seemed like an asshole.
I read that he went into, he went all Republican political guy towards the end there. But
I want to say that.
Yeah, I read that he went into cardiac arrest. But
yeah. What does that mean?
Not
heart
to
attack?
make an excuse, but yeah, it's a heart attack. But like, you can't tell me that guy didn't do steroids when he was younger.
I think he's admitted to doing steroids. They all did steroids back then. Those wrestlers, I don't think, had regulations with that. That was entertainment. They had no choice but to do steroids or they'd lose their jobs.
Still though, yeah, R.I.P. Thunder Lips.
Yeah. All right, now back to what you were saying.
Well, you just made a comment about Gene Simmons, and you can take just about any musician on the planet, and you're going to have fans and you're going to have haters, except for Ozzy. Name somebody in pop culture that is universally that loved.
Any one of his ex-bandmates.
Okay. And I get it. I mean, they're but that's
all money
business.
related. His wife. I don't think, and you know what? They don't hate Ozzy because his wife was the bad guy. And that's why. Huh? Yeah, because they screwed so many people on royalties. Jakey Lee got screwed straight up. Ozzy didn't write.
He showed up to the final concert.
Well, yeah. I'm sure.
There, right?
Well, because he probably had a settlement somewhere along the line. He wrote Ultimate Sin, the album. Ozzy was in rehab the whole time during the making of that album, and Ozzy took all the royalties, all the publishing. He did that with, he didn't do that. I don't think he did that with Randy, though.
Well, you totally backsmacked my point.
Listen, when it comes to the business side of things, you don't hear about that stuff. And then I'm not going to rag on Ozzy because I don't think Ozzy had anything to do with it. I think Sharon did all that. She's known to be a jerk.
Take business out of it. Out of it. Think of it from a fan experience because people hate music.
Are we talking the band?
We're talking about Ozzy.
Couldn't even tell you a love-hate song.
We're talking about fans. We're talking about fans' opinion of Ozzy Osbourne. And I would argue, think of somebody in pop culture that is more beloved across the board.
Do you think the Osbourne show helped that?
Tell me the last time you heard, yes, I think it helped a lot because it showed him as a human. But tell me the last time you heard somebody go like, oh, Black Sabbath, I don't like Black Sabbath. Oh, Ozzy's music, I don't like Ozzy's music. Like Kiss.
Well, that's not fair. That's not fair to say because I have heard people say they don't like Sabbath or Ozzy.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm off base.
We're talking about people as people. Let's get back to your point at hand, which was nobody ever talks shit about Ozzy. And I think that's proven by what just happened a few weeks ago at that last show and everybody that showed up. And all I said was, I'm sure there are people out there who don't like the Osbourne operation. I don't think there's anybody out there who doesn't like Ozzy Osbourne personally. I think you're right with that. I think even the bandmates that were scorned, Jakey Lee doesn't show up if it's not for Ozzy Osbourne. He sure as hell did not show up for Sharon Osbourne.
I'll give you a perfect example of my point here. I listened to Noel Gallagher talk about Ozzy Osbourne. You've heard Noel Gallagher talk about musicians.
He hates everybody.
He hates them all. He's
including
the best
his own
band.
brother.
He hates,
including his own brother.
He hates everybody.
Everybody.
And he goes, I don't remember the question, but it was something about Ozzy. And he said, I talked to Ozzy Osbourne one time and he came up to me and he said, would you like my opinion? You and your brother should smile more. It's just like,
it's amazing.
And
what was Noel's reaction to that?
He laughed at it. He was just like, yeah, you know what? And there was a little clip of an interview. I have to go back to see if he said anything further on that. But it's just like, he didn't reply with his typical quip or
Ozzy.
Yeah, something like that or whatnot.
That's amazing. You and your brother should smile more.
Smile more.
Ozzy, dude, in his prime, dude. It was really awesome when he'd do those hops and he would dump the buckets of water on himself. And I mean, it is sad. We lost a legend. We lost a true legend. We lost the Prince of Darkness. It's the Prince of Darkness. He's the guy. I mean, he's the founder of heavy metal music.
Prince of Darkness, but I guarantee that dude is first ballot heaven.
Well, he's hanging out with Randy, Lemmy, Taylor Hawkins.
Isn't it funny how people think that he's this evil embodiment and did all these evil things, and he's a lovely human. He raised $190 million for Children's Hospital. His last effort, he raised $190 million for kids.
And he's a devil worshiper, right? That's what they say.
Yeah.
On that note, everybody, thank you for tuning into episode 122 of the What Everybody podcast. We are glad to be back. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, report, do all the things we like, send us notes, tell your friends about it, share it on the links, do all that other good stuff. And until next time, you have a good week, maybe 2 weeks, 5 weeks, you never know with us, but we'll be back soon, and we'll see you guys later.
Love you, Ozzy. Thanks for a lifetime of inspiration.
Yeah, buddy.